What's up, everybody? How's it going?
What's going on? Happy Wednesday, everyone. Little off day for us here.
A little snowstorm in the Northeast slowed us down. Didn't want Rich to get trapped at my house in the snow, so we postponed until tonight. But a little off thing. But we got something fun coming for tonight.
We got a goofy, spicy one for you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So one of the things we were looking at was there anything fun that we missed recently? And we came up with something from Infinity that is legal in Commander, but is hysterical. Is Magar of the Magic Strings.
This legendary Minotaur performer at 3 mana, 1, a black and a red is a 3/3. And then for 3 mana, there's a wall of text that I'd like to read to you. It says, note the name of target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard and put it onto the battlefield face down. It's a 3/3 creature with, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may create a copy of the card with the noted name. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost, and if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. So the way it looks is, not only do you need to have Magar on the field, you gotta put stuff in the graveyard, then you have to pay mana to get it out of the graveyard, then you have to attack with it, then you have to hit with it, and you get a free spell. So Steve and I are gonna figure this out right now. We got a cool little list of cards we like. This is gonna be awesome.
So the main thing that we thought of was, if you're gonna do all that work, you gotta get something. This is not shock. Like,
not gonna be just lightning bolting people by hitting with creatures. I mean, that's not that bad. But I'm not gonna be incinerating folks. It's
right.
the same thing. But.
We want some. We want to dig into the list of go to Scryfall and be like, show me sorceries and instants, probably mostly sorceries because the ridiculous ones are sorceries. Highest CMC first was the way I sorted.
That's how I sorted it too.
Show me the bombs that no one's ever gonna play because you're like, hey, do you want to pay 10 mana for this? 12 mana? Do you want to pay 8 mana? And I think this is one of the big ones.
Oh, sorry, I forgot the exclamation point. Blood for the Blood God! So this bad boy is 11 mana instant. And it costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. We don't really care. I mean, you could technically do that, but it does say discard your hand, then draw 8 cards, and then it deals 8 damage to each opponent. Yeah, exile it. Or you could just pay Magar's activated ability, attack with the 3/3, and just get this over and over and over again for the whole game. You pretty much can just annihilate everybody pretty fast with this card.
Drawing 8 cards and doing 24 damage on attack.
And I believe it does wheel you so that you get to discard all those other big chonky things you want to get back with Macaroni here.
That sounds like a perfect start to the ridiculousn's. We put some rocks in here. We put some lands in here already. The boring stuff. I think the other thing we thought of, we're gonna go with the spicy stuff, right?
Yeah, we're gonna start with these big booming spells. So
all
we
right.
kind of talk about those and figure out which ones we like, which ones we don't.
All right.
I think that's the exciting part.
Hit me with some ridiculousness.
So I came up with Rise of the Dark Realms.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I don't really think this card's all that good most of the time, but if you're playing casually, this card will crush people. So Rise of the Dark Realms is a 9 mana sorcery. It says just return all creatures from all graveyards under your control.
Right.
Which is it's pretty good if you're wheeling or Cathartic Reunion, Faithless Looting, getting through your deck very quickly, and maybe you don't need those extra creatures, those superfluous ones that just are role players anymore.
Yeah.
In which case, also, when you kill their things, you get all of their awesome stuff back. Also, this works really well with the wheel effects, like Wheel of Misfortune here, or the Blood for the Blood God. Steve and I were actually talking about some other wheel effects at the beginning as well. Let's see here. So, we're getting all their stuff back, but I think the important thing is making sure it gets in the bin, right? You really want to kill all those things. Look at $2. I mean, it's another pretty expensive sorcery here, but Plague Wind is a 9 mana sorcery. It just destroys creatures you don't control.
Yeah.
And it can be regened. Could be wrong.
Yep.
It's all just a simple attack with your 1/3/3, wrath all their stuff, you keep yours, win the game very quickly, surely. And then they have no blockers. This is like a dual roll.
Because you got to get through with these three threes. So,
What do you like? What we got next here?
what did I have? I had some stuff over here. I had something that I don't think I even saw. Oh, the Fevered Suspicion, I think, was the one that I saw. Yeah, that one.
With the Lich on it, right?
Right.
The Beholder here. It says each opponent. Oh, sorry, it's an 8-mana sorcery, 6 in a Rakdos. Very easy to cast, for free. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until exile a non-land card, and you just cast any number of spells from among those without paying their mana costs. And it's got rebound. I don't actually think that this spell will rebound if we're getting it off of Magar here, because it does exile the spell, I believe. Or it puts it on the battlefield face down, so it won't be able to go to exile to be rebounded. But just hit with it over and over again, and you'll be casting lots of free cool stuff.
I had one on my list that I don't see on your list.
Oh, yeah, what we got?
Army of the Damned.
I like Army of the Damned. I want all the zombies. Give me, was it 13 of those bad boys?
Yes.
Yeah, Army of the Damned. Just a simple 8-mana sorcery that makes 13 tapped 2/2 zombies. And it's got flashback, just in case you have to play it fairly. Not for nothing, but this deck looks like it's going to be a riot to try out. Let's see, what else did I have? I had a Volcanic Vision. I wasn't sure how I felt about this, but I thought it was just a big enough mana cost that it made sense to look at.
I haven't seen this one yet. Show me what you got.
So Volcanic Vision is a 7-mana sorcery that lets you return an instant sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. So it's like a 7-mana regrowth for instant sorcery. It's fine, right? Then it deals damage equal to that card's mana value to each creature your opponents control.
Ooh.
It's just a kind of another, like a Plague Wind that also gets you something relevant back. Say you wheel away like one of your Faithless Looting effects or a Removal spell. It's pretty sweet to put this on a 3/3 that attacks and just wrath their board every turn, basically. I actually don't know if it works that way, does it? Deals damage equal to that card's... Oh, you just get to return the instant sorcery first.
Yes.
So this is just a constant reanimate the sorcery back to your instant sorcery back to your hand, and then deal a pile of damage to them.
Yeah.
And to all their creatures. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is another support player. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't think it's actually good enough. It might be, but Grave Upheaval is another beautiful sorcery. This is the slowest deck of all time, by the way. 6-mana sorcery just to reanimate a creature from any graveyard, and it gains haste. The reason I put it in here, at least I have it on my initial list, is because it has basic land cycling for 2.
Yeah.
So go get you that 3rd land if you need it. It just puts a big, crazy spell right into the bin, right out of the gate.
Yeah, we're going to need to get stuff in there, so that makes sense.
And you know what? Even when you hit the creature that might not be something good to reanimate, it still turns into a 3/3 just fine. This is going to be a big cuts deck, I think.
Yeah, I definitely had Grave Upheaval as well.
So Invoke Despair, another one that I don't know if you'd want to hard cast this. You actually could easily pay the 5 mana for this. 4 black pips, still a lot, even in a 2-color deck. But it just says 5-mana sorcery, target opponent sacks a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card, then you repeat it for enchantment and planeswalker.
Ooh.
So this is pretty dirty.
This is.
So it only hits 1 player at a time. But
How are we not dying as soon as we cast all of these things?
I mean,
because there's going to be no creatures to attack
the
us?
guns are going to be pointed at us for sure. If we ever reanimate a creature, if we ever hit with one of these Magar creatures, they're going to be strong. Watch, we'll probably end up getting stuck with like a Cathartic Reunion on one, just draw through our whole deck.
That's fine.
What's a wild guess? Let's keep drawing 2 cards every time. I mean, that's still
that
good.
Seems fine. You play Curiosity on a creature and attack with it, you'd be totally fine with that.
You're right. I'm totally fine with that. I love it. You got any others here? Should I just go through the list, you think?
Yeah, what else you got?
Incendiary Command. Steve was telling me that he wants to burn people out. And I thought, burning people might be nice.
What do you have for that one? Because I got some that do some big whopping damage. What's that one do?
Alright, Incendiary Command is not a big whopper. It's 5 mana, so you could actually play the front half of it. You choose 2. You can deal 4 damage to a player, you can deal 2 damage to each creature, or destroy target non-basic land, or each player discards all the cards in their hand and then draws that many cards. It's another wheel type effect, which is cool. That gives you something else on top of it. It's a good way for you to fill the bin with your junk. It's also a good way to strip good things out of their hands or kill a bunch of dinky things that are in your 3/3's way.
Modal spells are really great in this deck that I didn't necessarily think of. I like that.
Yeah, so having a modal spell means that 3/3 is going to hit, and you're just be able to do a lot of different stuff. And this deals 4 damage to a player. You hit with that thing 2 or 3 times, they're starting to big chunks of life missing. So.
Okay.
What we got next? Gix's command. I like commands. What can I say?
Well, I understand
Anything
the
with
modality
modes.
is great.
It's 36 cents. My goodness, for our budget players. Let's do this. It is a 5-mana sorcery. So just choose 2. Put 2 1/1 counters up to one target creature, and it gains lifelink until end of turn. It's actually pretty solid. Nice little way to just bolster your life. Destroy each creature with power 2 or less. It's also quite good at clearing the way for our 3/3s that Magar is going to make.
Sure.
It says you can return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, or each opponent sacrifices a creature with the highest power among creatures they control. And you can pick 2 of those modes. And if you turn it into a 3/3, you can do it over and over and over again.
You definitely thought of some much more useful spells, and I was just like, hey, does this cost 12?
I think you need both. I think both are great.
I do. I think yours makes a lot more sense.
I like some role players here, but I do want to just Army of the Damned every turn. Like, I honestly want to build like an Army of the Damned combo Magar deck with like Impact Tremors and Perforos now, because it seems so sweet. I have to add Grixis to it though. We have to get the Mystical Tutor for this.
Sure.
Alrighty, what else we got here? Is this too many big spells? Should we keep going?
Aren't there, I mean, you could always play Entomb in this deck.
I could.
You could.
It's on my list. Let's put Entomb in here. This is... We're going to get to the how we fill the bin. Or put the right cards in the bin. But Entomb, 1 black instant, search your library for any card, and then bin it.
Yeah.
And then you shuffle. It's literally the best tutor. One of the best tutors ever printed, in my opinion.
Right.
Might be the best tutor ever printed, depending on the build of your deck.
Yeah. If you care about it.
Yeah. So I really dig that. Let's see here.
Other big whoppers. If you're playing Plague Wind, are you playing in Garrick's Wake?
Might as well. It's the same thing, right?
It's the same thing.
And it's got
it also kills Planeswalkers, though.
That's way better. I don't even know why I didn't even consider that.
They don't regenerate. The regeneration clause is missing from this one.
Oh, that's why. All those regenerating creatures. What are we going to do? And Garrick's Wake, just another 9-mana Plague Wind. Except it also just destroys all their Planeswalkers, too. So, just a couple. And you know what? This one's a lot cheaper. 61 cents. Plague Wind is like $2. If you can't afford the 2, go with the Garrick's Wake. Also, it's got Garrick on it, which is awesome. I didn't know they printed it in...
One of the commander sets?
What's that? That's
I don't know which one that is. It's a commander set.
It's the D&D set number 2.
Oh yeah.
Baldur's Gate. That's it. Alrighty. Ooh, what do you think about Explosive Singularity? I'm just gonna give you all the big boom booms that I looked up that I liked.
Bring them on.
Let's just roll them in here. 20 cents. All right, 10 mana. Is that big enough for you? As an additional cost to cast it, you can tap any number of untapped creatures, and it costs 1 less to cast for each creature tapped this way.
Doesn't matter.
Or you can just exile it with Magar, and then hit somebody with a 3/3, and then deal 10 damage to any target over and over and over again.
10 is not. Now we're talking.
10 is a real big number.
10 is no joke.
When you're talking 25% of their life when you hit them with a 3/3, also, they take the 3 damage.
Yes.
It's 13 life.
Yes.
It's even more. So, Explosive Singularity is the reason that I really want to play this Saw in Half.
Yes.
Why don't we just put Saw in Half on here right now? I don't know if this works with the synergy. We'll have to...
There's some rules interactions here that are going to be very strange.
But this is another
what happens
card.
when you saw in half a sorcery creature?
Yeah, and the reason I think it does work is because Magar actually takes and gives the creature the ability. And so it is an actual factual physical card. So I'm pretty sure you can destroy it. And if it dies, you create 2 token copies of it that are half their power and toughness. That's what Saw in Half does. So if you get like a really good spell, I'm pretty confident that you can split it into 2 1/1s and still get that awesome spell when they hit.
Sure.
I'm willing to believe. Also,
Sure.
another really cool Infinity card from a not as explored set, I don't think. How about a Skull Storm?
How about a Skull Storm?
How about a Skull Storm? So Skull Storm, another just a 9 mana. It says when you cast, you can copy it for each time you cast your commander from the command zone this game, which is cool because we might have to cast Magar a couple times, in which case those will still trigger. And it's nothing. It's just a simple little card. It just says each opponent sacks a creature, and anyone who can't just loses half their life rounded up. This is nothing. It's fine. What a ridiculous card. We're really trying to do this, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're gonna Magar some people out. You're gonna see it. Who we got here?
Which the synergy of which card, Proctor?
Which card, Proctor? Proctor?
Proctor. Proctor 0.
Proctor 0, excuse me. Like doctor? Synergy? I don't know.
Synergy
Big-
is
big,
we're going
powerful,
to cheat
ridiculous
all
stuff.
of the cost of all of these spells.
What about a Searing Wind?
Because I don't know if you know this, but I think one of my favorite things to do in the game of Magic is cheating on mana costs. It's incredibly powerful. That's why Golos isn't around anymore. If anybody didn't realize that that's the reason.
Oh, cheating is good. The one we were talking about, Explosive Singularity. Let's see here.
It's just a 10 damage to face or to creatures. You can do the tap a number of untapped creatures to discount it. If you got to cast it for the first time to get it in your bin, if you've got a bunch of other creatures. But other than that, it's just, most of the really big burn spells in the game of Magic that we play are X spells, right? Yeah. Fireball, Comet Storm, Earthquake. Like, you can't cast an X spell for anything but 0, so we don't want to play those in this deck.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, Proctor. So what I was saying was, there's this card Saw in Half that you could actually take the exiled spell from Magar and then saw it in half to turn it into 2 creatures with the same ability. And if they were both Explosive Singularities, you'd be able to swing with those 2 creature 1/1s. And, Seize the Day? We'll check that one out in just a second. But basically you'd be able to 20, like, somebody every attack with 2 1/1s. It's really funny. It's not much synergy. It's just kind of fun. This is more of a ridiculous build of silliness and having a good time. It's definitely a casual deck here.
Seize the Day is extra combat.
Seize the Day. Let's take a look at it. There was an extra combat spell that I thought would work great, and it turns out it doesn't work. So let me check it out here. Seize the Day is... Did I put the wrong one in?
Word's thinking. Where did it go?
Where did it go? Well, let's try it again. Seize the Day. Carpe Diem. Oh, it's called Round 2, that's why.
Oh, they changed it on us. They did the... Oh, what is that from one of the secret layers for, like... is that, like, the one for... What's the video game?
Oh, these folks. Round 2 is the Arcane Secret Layer. Oh,
Arcane,
who is it?
Okay.
Max? This actually does not work with Magar. There's a lot of extra combat cards that say after this main phase, there's an additional combat phase. They actually don't work if you cast them in combat. I went and looked up a lot of rules about it to make sure. And unfortunately, because it doesn't say after this phase, it says after this main phase. So if they're not cast in the main phase, they don't actually do anything.
Oh, okay.
It is a really cool card, and I super dig extra combats. And while we're on the subject, we might as well...
use the one that does work?
Yeah, which is Savage Beating.
Savage Beating works.
Because who doesn't want infinite combats? I mean, that's probably why it's $18. Savage Beating here. It's a 5-mana instant, play only during your turn and only during combat. It's almost like it was meant to play with Magar. And it says you can choose one that creatures you control gain double strike and 10, or untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there's an extra combat. And then you can entwine them. But basically what we're looking at with Savage Beating is just putting it on the field as an instant that attacks. When you attack, you get to just untap them all and keep attacking, and so forth. Just crush them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max, I was disappointed when I found out the ones, like, I love Relentless Assault. It's one of my favorite Visions cards, and it just doesn't work because of the way it's templated. Who we got here? Who's Namoblin? Is it Colin?
Namoblin? What's up?
I feel like that might be Colin.
That might be Colin.
Well, it's good to have you all here tonight. Wow, this is sweet. All right, what else we got? Let's keep going with the big boys. Oh, I had put Searing Wind in. So Searing Wind is just another instant for 9 mana, deals 10 damage to target creature or player.
Yep. Yep.
So I thought that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's Colin. And Colin said, how about a Gaia Reach Sanitarium?
Funny story, Colin, on my list here. Let's go ahead and jam it in. Gaia Reach. I love getting cards in the bin, and I love drawing cards. $1, Colin? That's a little expensive for our budget. I don't know, man.
They got new art for Seize the Day, too.
Oh, cool. Have to check that
Oh,
one.
that was probably the...
That was the, this one here. Oh,
round,
I took it out.
round. You took one of them out. There's still one on the list.
Oh, yeah, the round 2. Seize the Day. It says up here in really tiny print.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish those cards worked. They're so cool.
Yeah, Relentless. Was it Relentless Assault? And Seize the Day would be the other two.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them I found out. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to just make a huge list of extra combat ones. And then I went and looked, and I'm like, for some reason the wording on these looks funny to me. So I went and checked it out. So Gaia Reach Sanitarium, Colin suggested here. It's just a legendary land that taps for colorless, or you can pay 2 and tap it. Each player draws and discards.
Yeah.
It's perfect as a role player. One, it makes mana, which is already on its good side. It comes into play untapped. But basically, you just get to filter loot through your deck quicker, get the big cards in the bin, draw your better support cards. It's perfect.
Everybody loves having a utility land that can do a major role.
Yeah. I don't think we'll play it, but as an honorable mention, I've been playing this in more decks. It's called Takazia's Dig Site. It's not very good in my opinion, but when you just got a bunch of mana laying around with nothing to do, it's just a tap 3, tap it, and surveil 1. So
That's not bad.
It's a fine. It comes into play untapped land. Helps you put cards in your bin that you want to. Say, you know what, you did that you're playing your blue deck and you did that ponder, and that third card's no good anymore. Just surveil it away. It's gone. Like I said, probably more of a budget option, but definitely a really neat card. We got a whole bunch more big stuff here. Should we keep going with big stuff?
Wind.
So I remember that Commander Legends had some real big spells.
The big scary like Phyrexian creepy doll faced one. Is that the one we're looking at here?
So 48 cents for Profane Transfusion. This bad boy is it is a 9 mana sorcery. 2 target players just exchange life totals. Then you get an XX horror where X is the difference between those players' life totals. So this is a really good way of protecting yourself when you do hit. Not only can you bolster your life with whoever has the most, if you wanted, but you also can just make big horror artifacts that just can block.
Yeah.
You know, they lock up the ground real nice. What are we saying here?
I could kill somebody who's trying to win with a Thassa's Oracle by making them Gaia Reach.
Yes, you can. Which
Although
would
I
be,
feel like
actually be quite funny.
I think if you're playing this deck, I don't think you should be playing against someone who's playing Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah, if you're playing this and someone plays Thassa's Oracle, give them the finger for me.
I'll give an exception. It's in Scry Guys, which would be a totally fair. If you manually draw your entire deck,
If you just play Thassa's Oracle and don't play anything else, it's totally reasonable. But when they go for that Demonic Consultation or that Tainted Pact, you're just like, one sec, tap Gaia Reach, every draw card. All right, good game. Yeah, it's true though.
anybody else got some big monster spells that they want us to check out?
What do you think about Worst Fears?
I don't know this one at all.
You don't know this one? Ooh, good. So this is another 8 mana sorcery. You can control target player during their next turn.
Oh man, we're mind slavering people.
Every time we connect, yeah. And then if you saw this one in half, you basically get to control the whole table.
That's brutal.
It's pretty dirty, right? And that's the whole point, right? That's the point of the Magar deck, is
Yes.
to just play spells that Commander just doesn't see anymore. Even casual decks have kind of pulled away from playing these really big, splashy, fun sorceries.
Maybe get 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know?
How about like 10 of them?
But how about every time I hit you, you're going to see one of those things happen. Speaking of which, both pretty good against this deck, by the way.
Yes.
They're all 3/3s.
Yes.
Alrighty.
What is our next one here?
Explosive Welcome.
I've never heard of this one either. You are pulling out deep.
I just went as like I was like, okay, let me see. 5 cents. I love this card. I kind of want to build this as like a super budget to see what
You
I can do.
totally could.
So,
My land base that I put in was pricey.
Yeah.
I got some shocks and some fetches and, basically all the good duels short of playing at Badlands. What's Explosive Welcome do?
So Explosive Welcome with 8 mana instant. It deals 5 damage to any target, 3 damage to another target, and you add 3 red mana. I don't think it's that good, but it could be. And if you want to burn people, this is a good way of doing it.
8 damage, 5 and 3.
So the reason I like this is because it clears the board. It keeps your board clear so your creatures get in.
Right.
But also you just like 5 them, 3 their blocking their creature that they just played last turn. Okay, 5 that creature, 3 that other player over there, 3 that planeswalker over there because it's any target. So you can contain a board with this card. And just adding 3 red is just hilarious. Just gives you some extra mana back, like in combat. I don't know what you're gonna do with that, but hey, what it is, what it is. Maybe it'll help you activate Magar because it's 1 in a red and a black.
We got a couple instances in here. You could do a 2. You could Cathartic Pyre. Proctor saying, "Kill someone with Lauren's
Yeah, that's so
triggers."
sweet. Yeah, killing people when they're going for Thassa's Oracle is the funniest thing. My favorite is because I don't play a lot of blue decks in CDH right now. Is that I like to Angel's Grace after the consultation is resolved before the Thassa's Oracle trigger is done, and then they get upset for some reason.
If you like that one, have you seen Sundering Stroke?
Sundering Stroke.
This was a Throne of Eldraine limited. When I just played limited in Throne of Eldraine and just decided that I'd break the format by just drafting mono red. This is 7 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. So it pays off if you cast it and you only spend red mana to cast it. It deals 7 damage to each of those permanents, which is probably not likely. But if you're looking for a way to divide up some damage, you're talking about 8, 5 and 3. This you can do 3 ways, so it's very similar. I don't know which one of them you like more.
I like that. This to me is like a modal card, right? Because when you hit with it, you're like 7 that player.
Yeah.
Or you're like 4 that creature, 2 that creature, 1 to your face.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I love this card. I'm sad it wasn't on my list. I failed. I don't think we should play it, but I wanted to put it on the list because I know how much you wanted to burn people out. 46 cents. This is a lot of black mana for Sorin's Vengeance. 4 black sorcery. Deal 10 damage to target player and you gain 10 life. Talk about staying in a game. This might help, but it might be cuttable.
Might even be better than the just 10. What was the straight 10 one from back in the day? Searing Wind.
This deals it to a creature though too, which will help you kill big things.
Pretty confident that's been errated to any target anyway.
It probably has.
I think it's
I'm talking about Sorin's Vengeance though. Only deals it to a player.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, could be fun. We'll probably end up cutting a lot of these bigger spells, but for the sake of just looking at really fun big stuff, because when in Commander do you get to look at really big stuff anymore? We're always like, how do we make this more efficient? Now I'm only 2 mana ramp, and give me more 1 mana rock. Like, we always want to be more efficient. 1 mana removal spells, 2 mana okay, 3 mana is ridiculous. Who would play that anymore?
Right.
I mean, that's how a lot of folks treat the format now. So it's really fun to like take this walk down these gigantic spell journey again.
Colin said, have we looked into colorless instants and sorceries?
Not yet, buddy. Go ahead and suggest a few. The only one that I thought about was the... Scour, yeah. 7 mana sorcery, I want to say, or instant. Exile a permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 7 mana.
Scour from existence, I want to say it is.
That sounds right.
23
Gruesome
cents.
Slaughter and Mascot Exposition.
Let's take a look at... What was the one Scour from existence? So that's 7 mana, exile permanent. Totally reasonable. What else we got here?
Gruesome Slaughter.
Gruesome Slaughter. Is that the one where you tap them all? I want to say that's the one where your creatures can tap to...
I was thinking.
I think that's the one where your creatures tap and like they can shoot stuff. Until end of turn, colorless creatures you control gain tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature.
I don't think we're going to have colorless creatures.
Well, this makes technically colorless creatures, but...
Are they colorless, or are they the color identity of the spell? I was looking into that. And I
onto the battlefield face down. So like a morph, like a manifest, it's considered a nameless, colorless creature with no mana cost.
Interesting.
I believe. We'll have to confirm that, but they are face down, so colorless, yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I like this one very much, bud, just because I want to attack with those creatures if they can tap, instead of dealing damage. But you know, let's leave it in here for now. It seems like it could be sweet. You know, it could be a way to like, well, actually, we have a nice big haste section we're going to get to real soon, so maybe it gets a lot better. Unless there's a painter servant, yes.
What's Mascot
Exhibition. Yeah, this is from, I want to say Strixhaven. You make a bunch of tokens. It's actually pretty cool. Was that right? Strixhaven! So it's a 7 mana sorcery. It says create a 2/1 white and black flyer, a 3/2, and then a 4/4. So yeah, that's sweet. Hit, make 3 creatures.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Nice suggestion, bud. Thank you. Sometimes it's a plague wind. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it definitely acts like a plague wind, the Gruesome Slaughter. I have a few more on here before we're finished up. And a Breath of Malfagor.
Malfagor. Oh, that's a terrifying name I haven't heard in a while.
Instant. Just deals 5 damage to each opponent. Like I said, if you want to go the burn route, and I have a feeling some of these burn cards will probably get pulled down or out maybe.
Yeah.
But if you want to go the burn route, cards that just deal damage to each opponent are fantastic. And it's got a cool art. That demon is breathing fire.
Yeah. Malfagor is terrifying.
He's a pretty awesome.
Isn't that the one where it enters and makes you sacrifice a whole bunch of stuff?
I think so, yeah.
That Jeff like built and made us visible for like
There's a couple of
couple of
Malfagors
games.
now, right? Malfagor.
Nope, just one. Where is he?
Enters the battlefield, discard your hand. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for each card you discard.
Yes, Jeff did that to us. Do you remember?
I do. That actually doesn't seem all that bad for this deck because discarding our hand is potentially a good thing, but I don't think we're looking for a 6-mana sorcery that doesn't cast a gigantic spell, but still very funny.
Yes.
Demon Dragon, yes.
Yes.
Even more terrifying. Alrighty. Oh, I thought this one was neat. Temporal Extortion.
Is it the other one with the creepy faces?
Oh, it's super creepy. Did I spell it wrong? Nope, it's just taking its time. You can see it's obviously a good card because it costs $14, but this is a 4-black sorcery, and it says that any player can pay half their life rounded up, and if they do, it just counters it. But if they don't, you just take an extra turn. So, half their life
We're playing
or
a
extra
Rakdos.
turn.
We got a Rakdos turns deck.
Is this not the funniest card for this deck, or what? Hit you with my 3/3? You gonna pay half your life, or am I gonna take another turn and do it again? Come on, what do you want to do?
Because you get to just cast it again. That's
over
terrifying.
and over and over and over again. Yeah. So I thought you'd really dig that one.
That's terrifying.
We already put the Savage Beating in, right? Yeah, we did. All right. So that's all the big spells that I had listed. Any other suggestions from chat or from yourself here?
You went above and beyond.
We are at
sir.
24 sorceries.
You
right?
went above and beyond, my good sir. I cannot top that.
You know what it is? I was having fun looking up spells that I rarely ever look at because they're just such a high CMC. But this commander really does give you the opportunity to just do wacky stuff, and I really dig that.
Better make sure we can have keepable hands in this deck.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, you basically just want like some kind of looting effect, and there are a lot of them. What you're about to see in this next section called "Get 'em in the Bin" that I have even more than I have for sorceries. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a neat deck. I think you're really gonna struggle to protect Magar, and then Wraths are pretty devastating because you lose the spell forever.
Yes.
So, anytime one of those creatures leaves the battlefield, it's just exiled. Do we want to protect Magar with like Boots Greaves kind of thing? Think it's necessary? Once he makes the creature, we don't care if he dies.
Right.
But, I mean, it still sucks that to recast him.
Yeah, everybody starts at 3, right? 3 and then 5 is very reasonable.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love them in the deck because I'm not like...
Yeah. Well, my only argument for putting him in the deck is it also gets the creature attacking that turn, too.
This is true. This is true. I mean, I think we'd rather have, like, some global haste effects because I think, like, the plan is to basically, like... I almost want to get him out and activate him on the same turn.
Okay, so we're looking for like a 6 mana, if we can, having already been something.
Because I don't think I want to play him on 3.
Oh, no, certainly not.
And then wait to untap and play him on 4. And activate him on 4, and then wait another combat to go to combat. I think my play pattern would rather be like, okay, land go, turn 2 rock, go, turn 3 looting effect, something something else maybe, then untap, Magar, activate, attack.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely doable. For that particular play pattern, I would love to get a treasure in there somewhere so that we could play him and activate him in the same turn with the looting effect. And we got some cool ones here. I don't know if you like this card, but I have Darcy in here.
Yeah, Dragon's Rage Channeler is fine, and it's not expensive anymore. It's $1.45.
Yeah. So Dragon's Rage Channeler, first creature we've added that's not the commander. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you surveil one. So it just lets you fill your bin faster, and if it has Delirium, then it gets 3/3. It gets 2/2 and flying. It has to attack each combat. More than fine.
Yep.
Do
you want to play the other new red one, the one that does the wheeling?
Oh, I do have it right here. Look.
Yep.
I wrote it in anyway.
That's the new red one?
No. That's the black creature that has no.
The other mono red one drop.
Do you know what it is?
Give me a second here.
All right, while Steve's looking that up, I'm just going to suggest an Anjay Falconwrath. This is like a commander-only card, I think. I don't think they've actually made other printings of it yet. Nope, doesn't look like it. Well, let's check. I'm curious. But it's a 3-mana legendary vamp with haste, and you just tap it to discard a card, then draw a card. It says when you discard a card, if it's got madness, you untap. We don't currently have any madness cards in here, but it's a great way to just start filling the bin up. It's a 1/3 blocker. It has haste, so you can do it right away. There are some times where this might be really good for you.
This is the Vindictive Flamestoker. Flamestoker is the one I'm thinking of.
Is that 2-mana one?
Nope. It's a 1-mana red creature. It's a Phyrexian Wizard 1/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on it. And then it's 7 mana, discounted for the number of oil counters you have on it. Discard your hand, draw 4.
All right, so you can easily get this down to 1 or 2 mana.
Yeah.
Discard your hand, draw 4. That seems pretty sweet. I dig it. I also like the artwork on it a lot.
It's
really cool looking.
Yeah. I want to play test it. I haven't tried it in something yet. It seems cool.
Yeah, we put Army of the Damned in already. Does Magar break spell timing restrictions so you can cast Necrologia? I believe it does. Let's check out what Necrologia does. Card sounds familiar. I can picture it.
It's the end step black one, instant speed, right?
Only during your end of turn step. No, I don't think you can break it that way. Because you're still casting a copy of it. So you can't cast it if it's not within the rules. Same reason that those ones that cast in your command, like in your combat step, don't give you extra combats because you're not in the correct phase. Oh, that is a pretty sweet card. But I'll leave it in there. Why don't I'll look that up while you put the next few cards in. I'm kind of curious if that works.
All right, so this is the card that Rich and I have been trying forever to find a home in the deck. Every time it doesn't make the cut. It's the Auric Loremaster from Strixhaven. Tap, entomb a card. If it was an instant or sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on him. So we've always been trying to be like, all the entomb effects that are like stapled to a creature that we're always trying to get to play, which is this one, the Lamia, Gravebreaker Lamia.
I've actually played that one.
And
before.
then the Corpse Connoisseur, that you're just like, it's just not good enough. And I think this is worth it. I think this is the one.
I think this is finally the deck for the Auric Loremaster.
And then the other one that I do usually actually end up playing, which isn't bad, is the Vile Entomber.
I like this card. I play it in my budget Alicia deck.
4 mana, Death Touch, bin something.
The fact that it's a 2/2 Death Toucher means that they're not going to be able to attack into you on the ground. And if they do, fine, I'll trade my 2/2 that already did its job away.
And then I had kind of the normal suspects of these things, which is Faithless Looting, Cathartic Reunion. Where's the other ones? Tormenting Voice, Wild Guess. I put a Wheel of Misfortune in here because that card's just fun anyway. Cathartic Pyre, which can do damage or be a discard draw. And then I think that was it for those kind of effects. There's the new one that's an enchantment. Is that the Bitter one?
The Bitter Reunion, yeah.
Bitter Reunion, that's this one. That's 2 mana. It's another, discard draw 2, but it sacks to give creatures haste, which is relevant in this deck. So that's really cool if it's in a multiple categories there. Unmarked Grave you were thinking about also?
Yeah, it's the same thing as Entomb, just 1 more mana, and it can't get a legendary card. So for 2 mana at sorcery speed, it's not as good as Entomb, but it does exactly the same role in this particular deck.
And then, this is another one we both had in here was, where'd it go? Seize the Spoils? I don't see it though. Did we take it out?
Maybe? Here, let me type it in.
Oh, let's take it out. Seize the Spoils was 3 mana, discard a card, draw 2, create a treasure. which is what you were talking about having an effect that also just gave us some more mana to go into the next turn. Big Score is isn't that the one that makes a bunch of treasures?
Yo, Gatherer does not recognize Magar as a commander, like as a card in Magic.
What?
Look, Magar is here. For those of you who can't tell, I'm on my phone right now. I'm looking at Gatherer to try to find the ruling of the Necrologia, and Gatherer is not finding this commander.
Oh no, Big Score is also a looting spell.
Yeah, it's a looting spell that makes
with
treasures.
Two treasures.
Yeah.
I think
So this
we always
is
talked
sweet
about
to turn
like,
into a creature too, because you like hit with a creature, and all of a sudden you're drawing 2 cards and making 2 treasures. This one's good on both fronts.
and we were fine with any of these spells because a lot of them are additional cost to cast. So if you have them reanimated as a creature, you're just drawing cards, which seems fine.
You don't have to pay that extra cost, which is just fantastic. I'm gonna search Scryfall. If they don't find Magar.
Yeah, he's Colin found it on Scryfall for sure.
There it is. I'm just trying to find some rulings on it. Here we go. Whoa, there are a lot of rulings.
You've also got Pirate's Pillage. I don't think I know that one. That's the... What do you got here? Oh, yeah. Additional cost to cast a spell, discard a card, draw 2, create 2 treasure tokens. It's the same sort of effect you were talking about. Those are all great. Unexpected Windfall. That is the... You got all of these things in here, huh?
Colin, you're kind of my rules, buddy. Help me see if we can figure out if you can play the Necrologia during your combat step, or if you get to bypass it with the Magar ability.
How do you feel about Final Parting?
It's on my list. Love it. I think it's great. Tutor for a card to your hand and 1 for your graveyard. I think that's fantastic. And then if you get to turn it into a creature, you just get to do that over and over again. Just continues your plan. I'm big on that. Let's see here. Faithless Looting we did.
And then Rathacast Right is...
Thrill possibility in there?
Yep.
Let's see it.
No?
Nope.
And we got new art for Thrill of Possibility.
Yes.
Which is really sweet. If you haven't seen this yet, guys, this art is sweet.
Yeah, it's such a sweet art. It's Nahiri, right?
It is
Yeah,
awesome.
as the infection spread, Nahiri's thoughts grew tangled. She needed to protect what she loved from Phyrexia, or maybe only Phyrexia could protect what she loved.
Oh,
Such a cool looking card, though.
awesome.
Well, guess is in there.
Yep.
Seize the Spoils, Big Score, Pirate's Pillage.
Yep.
All right.
Went right down in the list.
Unexpected Windfall. You already put that one in?
Yep.
Nice. Razaket's Right. There it is.
I think that's...
Razaket's Right is just another one I want to talk about real quick. This is another kind of dual mode card where you can just pay the black to just discard it and draw a card. So it self-bends, and then turning it into a creature means you just get to tutor every turn when you hit with that creature. You could pay the 5 mana up front, but I probably won't. I'm big on cycling stuff. I think cycling is a really good mechanic. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate it. Alrighty, that's all the get them in the bins that I had. Except for this one right here. We'll talk about this in a minute, though, because I want to do that to get them through.
Okay. So we've got a lot of spells. We're going to have to cut back on these significantly.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got the big stuff we want to cast. We've got the stuff that puts stuff in the bin. And now we're talking about we want to get some haste so that when we animate these spells, we can get through. So all the normal suspects are going in here, I assume?
Yeah, so this is secretly one of my favorite Magic cards for Commander. It's Hammer of Perforos. It's a 3-mana legendary enchantment artifact. It gets blown up by everything, and no one ever does. For some reason, I never lose this card unless I'm playing Magda. But it also has this really sweet activated ability that I think most people overlook. It's 2 in a red, and tap it. You sack a land to make a 3/3 colorless golem enchantment artifact creature token.
You're the only human being I've ever seen activate that in my entire life.
Because when you get late game, just making a couple of 3/3s and attacking for 6 is really powerful when people are just kind of, stalled out and you have all this leftover mana, or you just want an extra body. Turning your superfluous lands, especially because you'll be drawing so many cards in this deck, turning those lands into extra creatures that can block for you or attack your opponents is very powerful, especially with a lot of these big spells clear their board or give them, so much trouble that these 3/3s could actually be something relevant.
All right.
I'm not saying sack all your lands to make creatures, but it's a cool added mode to it.
We got Fervor, pretty standard issue. We got Anger, put the weird baby in the bin, and therefore be able to give haste. Makes sense. Another actual creature in your list here.
This is a sweet one, I think.
Which I love these guy as a sweet commander. Shaner Nightmare Adept.
So Nightmare Adept plays all kinds of roles in this deck.
You get to discard to it.
Yep.
You get to give things haste.
Yeah. And if a non-token creature enters the battlefield under control and you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste. So that's every single creature that Magar makes is a non-token that you did not cast from your hand. So this gives haste to literally all of the Magar creatures. And it says you can activate the ability of discard a card once per turn. You could do that on your opponent's turns too.
Yep.
So just as a neat little use on that card that makes it super sweet. Now, we're still getting them through.
You want more haste? You want Urbrask?
I like Urabrask the Hidden. Not just because of the haste, which is, it's a very expensive haste in that it's a 5 mana, but the fact that your opponent's creatures enter tapped is a real big boon for your creatures that want to attack.
Sure. And then, do you want to do Boots and Greaves?
If you like them, cool. If not, no big deal. Even if we just end up moving them to the, I'll type it in here. If we end up moving them to the considering, you know? $8 for Greaves these days. They keep printing it too, that's the funny part. Greaves and Boots kind of go together. I don't think that protecting the commander is all that necessary, which is where I would usually use these cards. But I think the Greaves has a little more upside just because it's free to equip. And then, I put a land on here. I don't know how you feel about it and what you think, but Hanweir Battlements is just a colorless land that you can pay red and tap it to give a creature haste.
Yeah, fine.
You know, the bottom half is a meld half that I don't think you're going to want to play, so I wouldn't even worry about that.
Nope.
But it's just a neat land. It also looks nice in your mana base.
I play this for haste all the time.
Yeah, pay one and tap it to give a creature haste is sweet.
So now we got to get some creatures through.
Ooh, this is a sweet category. I love this one. This is the get them through category. So this is what I think is the best card in the deck. Personally.
Key to the City.
Key to the City. Now this is my Alicia Superstar.
Make something unblockable. Discard a card.
Oh yeah. So Key to the City is an artifact, 2 mana, tap to discard a card, and then up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. And then at the beginning of your, or when it becomes untapped, you can pay 2 and draw a card. So it just gives you that versatility of like, it can draw, it can discard, it can make your creature unblockable. It does all of the things that this deck wants to do.
You had on here one of my favorite mechanics in the game.
At the bottom.
Yes, but I'm looking for the other one.
Got the Embrace.
I'm looking. This is the one that I want to play. This is the enchantment that's not an aura. Sits on the battlefield. 2 mana. Target creature gains shadow until return. I love this card.
This is a
I
really
love
card.
Shadow. I had a Shadow tribal deck. It's not together currently, but it was sweet.
Confirmed. Can't cast Necrologia. All right, thank you, Colin.
All right, check it out.
That card is sweet though, in that it's a permanent that no one will ever really blow up because you have to keep paying to give your creature Shadow, but they're gonna have so many other things they have to deal with that thing's never ever gonna be a problem. The
Necrologia's out.
Necrologia. I mean the Dothi Embrace.
I don't think I want to play the other one, the Dothi Trapper, because that one is the tap to give something haste. So unless I already have haste, or top to get something through.
Is that what it is? I may have just put as many in here as I could. Tap target creature gains Shadow. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's not very good because you only can do one at a time. No. Totally reasonable. Let's see here. Like Manifold Key. What do you think about those? How do you feel about like equipments and stuff? Like I have like Zephyr Boots to give a creature flying, Prowler's Helm to give it basically unblockable, Thieves Tools to actually Thieves Tools is pretty good. Let's look at that. Spelling it correctly. Come on, fingers. Thieves' Tools. I liked this one a lot. Like I said, I don't know if it makes the final cut, but it's just such a neat card. It says when it enters the battlefield, you make a treasure, and then you equip a creature for 2, and it says creature can't be blocked as long as its power is 3 or less. Which is literally all the creatures Magar makes.
That's pretty great.
So, I mean, it's a 1 mana equipment because it makes a treasure when it enters.
Yeah, I like that.
And then it equips for 2. That didn't seem all that bad.
Oh, I like that one. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. I don't think we need the other ones. Like, do you like Whisper Silk and
No.
Trailblazer Boots, Thieves Tool? Thieves Tool is just a Prowler.
Zephyrs.
I mean, I don't think we need Manifold Key. That untapping artifacts doesn't really seem all that relevant for what we're doing, since most of them just make 1 mana anyway. How do you feel about this, though? Because we are discarding a lot.
Let's take a look at it.
So this card is Filth. This is very much like Anger. This is in the same cycle. Filth says if you control a swamp and it's in your graveyard, creatures you control have Swamp Walk. So if you have an Urborg and you play it in your deck, it's really good with Filth. But you need both of them to be good, or your opponents to be predominantly black.
Yeah, but if anybody has a swamp, we don't need. We're not looking to get our creature through to deal combat damage.
That's true.
We just want to get through to anybody, because most of our spells are going to just take an effect on everyone, right? We're not paying
it's a very good point. Yeah.
Right. So like, we don't have to have every player have swamps. We don't need Urborg. We just need one person to have one swamp.
Totally reasonable then. Yeah,
I think
like
that goes
Filth.
way up in value, and that's it.
And especially because it's so easy to like just bin it. Let's see. What do you think about Goblin War Drums giving a menace? Do you think that's not good enough? I mean, I like how simple and cheap and easy it is.
I love Goblin War Drums in a go-wide strategy. I think it's really good. I love there's like a million arts for them, and there's some awesome ones out there.
Pick this one. It's funny. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary, but I just wanted to talk about it because giving your creatures menace is, I mean, that's a lot of text on there for basically saying they get menace.
Right.
We got a suggestion here: Fast Furious.
Vin Diesel is not going to go in the deck.
Oh, but Paul Walker might. Fast Furious is it's a split card. So Fast is discard a card, then draw 2, which is great. It's an instant. And the Furious side is deal 3 damage to each creature without flying. We definitely do not like that side for what our strategy is, but it could be useful in a pinch. So thank you for the suggestion, buddy.
Yeah.
I do like the discard a card, draw 2. What else we got here?
Bedlam.
Oh, Bedlam, yeah.
I mean, the plan is really to win.
I casted a bunch of big dumb spells. Bedlam is a 4-mana red enchantment that says creatures can't block. Simple as that. We love it. I love it.
I like the risk factor on that one.
I like it too. It's a little scary on both sides. This one I have in my collection, and when I was going through my cards, I saw it. It's called Intimidation. It's a 5-mana black enchantment. It says creatures you control can't be blocked except by artifact, creature, and black creatures. It gives them all fear, basically. And if you're just looking to connect, this seems like a pretty easy one to get them in with. Again, very cuttable, but totally reasonable to discuss.
Yeah, 5 mana.
And I have a couple lands on here. I missed one more. Let's go to lands next. Access Tunnel. It's exactly the same thing as Rogue's Passage in this deck. This one's tap 3 and tap at target creature power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn.
Sure.
It's totally fine. And then Rogue's Passage with the same templating, really, except that it costs 4 mana and it's any creature. I think both these are totally reasonable to play.
Yeah.
Because, paying 4 mana and then tapping us with 5 mana to get a creature in, but if that creature's getting you like a 10 mana spell when you hit with it, it seems totally reasonable to me. And then I had this one here. You ever heard of that one?
No, War Cadence. I don't know
War Cadence is a weird one. It's basically like a red blocking tax effect. So War Cadence is a 2 and a red enchantment, and then for X and a red, creatures can't block this turn unless their controller pays X for each blocking creature. I don't really think this card fits the deck, but it is really funny, and I wanted to show you it.
Oh, I have not seen War Cadence
but
before.
It's really neat. Like
little Marcadian masks,
if
right?
if your opponent's tapped down too much, then you're just like, play this, pay 1 in a red. Unless you pay a mana, you can't block it. 10 mana spell, 11 mana spell, whatever it is.
Sure.
So easy to pull if we need to pull, but I think that's the get them through side. Do you like these categories? Do you want to burn them? At least put them in the considering. Or we'll definitely want to consider this one anyway because it fits the strategy.
Yeah, that seems fine.
So Soulfim is a new Phyrexia All Is One, like one of the Phyrexian horror legendaries. As a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or permanent. It deals double that much. So if you're doing like 10 damage with a spell, it's now dealing 20 damage with that spell.
I'd probably rather play this than Dictate of the Twin Gods or Furnace of Wrath or, I do like Fierce Emancipation, right? Fierce, the one that's
I know
triple.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
That one's good, but this is, I mean, when they printed this, it's like that's just way better.
This is sweet, and
It's a discard.
and it's got a discard outlet on it. So pay
It's everything in the
1
world.
and 2 red Phyrexian, or just 4 life.
What's up, Knowledge?
Discard
Thanks for
2
coming
cards
by.
and put an indestructible counter on it. And you can just do that as many times as you want. So you can always basically just pay 3 mana, 2 mana and 2 life, or 1 mana and 4 life. Just discard 2 cards and put another counter on it.
By the way,
What's
I
going on?
got a message from Knowledge. He's going to be hanging out with us this weekend.
Hey, thanks, bud. I can't wait to see you. We're heading up on Saturday.
Yeah. Gonna hang out for a little fun with some friends.
It's going to be sweet.
I think.
I like this one. I want to talk about that.
All right.
And I don't know how you feel about this.
Yeah.
That would be more of a combo. Oh, let's look up there was one that I didn't really know too well, but I looked it up. It's called Sentinel Tower. This is more of a quote-unquote, if you're trying to cast a lot of spells for the burn strategy. I don't think these really fit the deck too well.
No.
But it's whenever you cast an instant sorcery during your turn, it deals 1 damage to any target equal to 1 plus the number of instant sorceries cast before this turn.
It's like a storm payoff.
So it's like a storm payoff. It's not really fitting for this deck, but I thought it'd be great to just, like, if you're playing, like, Electrostatic Field, Firebrand Archer, Kessling Flame, or Gutter Snipe type effects,
Yeah.
this is just another one of those type effects, basically.
And we got Marcus Demock from
what's
from
going
the other
on?
coast checking us out
Man.
as well. What's up?
It's glad to have you guys all here. This is fantastic. Oh, man. So let's move that over here. Let's see.
You wanted to talk about your MDFC because couldn't be a video with us if we weren't playing an MDFC.
So I love MDFCs. Steve loves MDFCs. This is one that actually is not played anywhere. I've never seen it played.
You had to explain it to me. I'd never, as a big fan, I was like, I've never seen this one.
But I really dig it. It is a 6-mana sorcery that says each opponent loses 4 and you gain 4. And on the backside, it's a tapped black land. So for me, I count it as a land slot when I build the deck. But the fact that it just like plays into the game plan of getting a sorcery that gives you cool effect if you needed something else. Totally reasonable.
Better than a swamp.
Yeah, definitely better than a swamp. So I just have a couple more cards here that I consider quote-unquote support cards.
Sure.
I don't really have a good category for these. You can kind of squeeze them places, but I'm just going to list them all out. Tell me what you think about them. Tell me if you like them. Let's see here.
Lizard Blades. Wait a minute.
So hold on a second.
Wait a second.
So I don't know if you know the way that Magar reads.
Oh no, double
It
strike.
gives it double strike. Lizard Blades is an equipment that gives double strike. So Magar
I
reads
didn't
that
think
when the
about-
creature deals combat damage, you just cast the spell. So if the creatures have double strike,
Oh no.
then you cast the spell, I don't know, twice.
I wasn't even thinking about that, and I'm a big,
I felt like
Berserker's Onslaught. I love that stuff.
Where did-
Rage Reflection.
Where did the Lizard Blades go? Did I not put it
It's
in?
an artifact.
Yeah, but it didn't drop in.
Oh, it didn't? No.
Sorry.
No. It's a creature.
Oh, it's right. It starts as a creature. So this is a 1/1 for 2. That's an equipment lizard that reconfigures for 2, equips for 2, and just gives the creature double strike.
How is it 66 cents for the full art version? I love it.
But I love giving creatures double strike in this deck, and so with that in mind, I also have a where is it here? Berserker's Onslaught.
Yes.
And again, this is probably more for the fun side of it. If you're trying to play this to win, this is probably not what you're going to be doing.
Same thing with Bedlam.
Yeah, same with Bedlam. These are more fun cards for a good time, especially after our Mist Monday. We're just having a good time now. Berserker's Onslaught, 5-mana red enchantment, says attacking creatures you control have double strike.
This is
So all the creatures get double strike.
this is back breaking in my Is It Pirates deck.
Oh yeah.
Because I play Is It Pirates. I now have like a high-powered fair build going at this point. Berserker's Onslaught, real good with Malcolm, by the way.
Yeah, really good. I mean, I know Winota plays a 4-mana creature that gives your attacking creature double strike.
Yeah.
This is a casual deck for 5 mana as an enchantment. I'm totally into that. Granted, Winota cheats and puts it on the field. Oh, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted to put an Urborg in here? I didn't have one.
I don't
on
think
the
we
list.
need one. If we're, we just need one player to be hit. I don't know if you like these or what you think about them, but I have both Sedgemoor Witch and Young Pyromancer on this list.
Yeah, I don't.
I can understand why they wouldn't be good, but these also give us some creatures to block with because we're going to be casting, even just like our support spells, like the looting effects and stuff, we're going to be casting quite a bit.
I don't hate
So
it.
we'll be able to put some blockers out there. We need to cut them. They're cuttable. The Sedgemoor Witch is nice because it's got Menace if you need to attack something down. But basically, this just gives you a green pest that when they die, you gain a life. So that's even really good. And it has a ward of pay 3 life. If you're burning people a lot with a lot of big spells, they're probably not going to be paying 3 life to kill your thing. So it does get swept up in wraths, and they're obviously not as good. But having one of these things in the field while you're casting, 3, 4, 6 spells over a couple turns, make a few free bodies is nice.
And then you had we already put the saw in half in here.
Yep.
Twinning staff doesn't work. We had to look
Does
that
not
one
work.
up.
Yeah, I looked it up. Sorry.
And then you just like a deadly rollick just for just targeted removal. Why not?
Having something, and the reason I like this one in this deck so much is because if you have Magar out, then it's just free to cast, which puts it in your bin, and then you can just pay the 3 mana, bring it back, and now when you hit people, you get to exile creatures. So it's free and sweet. I love free.
I think this is awesome.
Deadly Rollick.
We have done a lot of work. We're about an hour in. Are we good with what we've got here? We want to start cutting it back down.
I just have 1 or 2 more, and then we can definitely cut.
Illusionist Bracers are going to double up that trigger. Does it work that way?
Illusionist Bracers, I think the way it works says whenever an ability of an equipped creature is activated, if it's not a mana ability, you can copy it. Choose new targets.
It's activated, not triggered.
Yep, this on Magar is an activated ability, so pay 3 mana, get it twice. Get 2 spells out of your graveyard.
Okay.
So, again, more of a fun card, but it's an activated ability on Magar, so basically what happens is, if a Magar is equipped with this, when you pay 3 mana to exile a spell, you can now exile a second spell and make another creature. Just gives you more use out of your graveyard spells.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I don't know
I don't think it makes
the
sense, but-
rate makes sense. Like, how many spells do you think we can get? Like, if you're going to pay 2 to cast this, 3 to equip it, you're paying 5 mana. You could have just activated it an additional time, and you'd be at 6 mana. This is 5 on top of that one activation. That's 8. So you need to get... So it's 3 activations in order to get the payoff?
You look at it in a similar way than I do. The way I look at it is the equip cost is the same as activating your commander. So basically, it costs you 2 mana to have this ability forever as long as it sticks in the creature.
Okay.
So, yes, it is a heavy cost. No, I don't think it belongs in the deck. But if you're playing for fun and you want to jam this in there, jam it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. No, I think it would work. Yeah, sure.
It just, for me and Steve, our group also plays a lot of removal, so a lot of equipments aren't as good. That said, we can easily put it to the considering board, though. Definitely try it out if you want. The last one was just Jessica's Will. Obviously, it's not the finest card in this deck, but making a ton of red mana and or getting some spells to cast, and then doing that maybe every turn after you exile it is pretty good.
Yeah, but you're going to have it in your main phase. Or you're going to have it in combat. You're going to get it in your main phase.
But you get the cards off of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Also, it gets you to where you're going. Helps cast a lot of these artifacts and stuff. Could cast some of the bigger spells. Again, totally cuttable, totally reasonable. That's pretty much my whole list. You have anything random or anything else you want to add?
No, I think this is ridiculous.
2 activations save you a mana.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta have 2 activations to get the discount. Yeah.
All right, so we're over by 19. How many lands are we rocking? We're rocking 39 with MDFCs. So why don't we pop? What do we think? Down to 36 maybe total with MDFCs.
Sure.
Sounds about right for 3 mana.
What's our color split? Well, that's tough because we're gonna cut a bunch.
Yeah, right now we're
pretty
40
even.
and 50. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Leans a little to the red side.
Our mana production currently leans a little more black. So if we're gonna cut, just cut 2 swamps out.
Gotcha. So start here. Move 1. Move 1. Gonna take them all out.
Nope. You did it.
Only took 1 out.
Okay.
There we go. 36. We want to go 1 more down a mountain. Sweet deal. Okay. 16 cards left to cut. What are we thinking? Some of these big spells? No. Just play
Yes. Definitely some of the big stuff. I think
the Angie Falconwrath doesn't seem all that necessary. It's kind of an expensive way to do what we're kind of already doing with a lot of spells.
Yeah, I would consider that out. And, I think we'd rather just have a 3 mana spell that did it once that we could then reanimate.
Yeah, I think that's better. Also, the Jessica's Will is easy enough to just cut. Like I said, it doesn't play hard into our strategy. It's just like a good red card that I wasn't considering. Do we have a Chaos Warp in here, by the way? Any removal, or are we just going on the...
The-
We don't care. We're just going on the Castle of Big Spells plan.
We have lots of wraths and damage-based removal.
I love it. We have Invoke Despair. That's how we deal with things.
So I think we probably want to go with... Do we want to come down on all of our looting effects? We have so many right now. You know, do we want to still keep the 4-mana ones? Like, where in our curve do you think we're casting these? Do we prioritize the 2-mana ones, the 3-mana ones, the 4-mana ones?
That's a good question. I mean, there's so many good 2-mana ones, and the 4-mana. Like, I don't really like the 3-mana ones all that much. 1 mana obviously is amazing with Faithless Looting because it just does the thing for 1 mana. The 4-mana ones tend to give you more, right? Like, we have an Unexpected Windfall is like 2 treasures and 2 cards. So stuff like that is really good to me because, like, that's a great spell to reanimate again with Magar because it's just a good value play. I definitely think we can start the enchantments and make some cuts here. And then we'll kind of think about the spells. Like, I don't think the deck needs Gruesome Slaughter. I don't know how many Ingaric Wakes, like Plague Winds we need. You know, there's a lot of Plague Winds right now. Intimidation is a really high mana cost on it. Totally reasonable to cut that if you're not feeling it. We have lots of ways to get the creatures through. We're also planning to keep the board fairly clear here. You like that Berserker's Onslaught, don't you?
I kind of like Berserker's
I kind of like the
Onslaught.
Berserker's Onslaught. How do you feel like the diamonds, the charcoal and fire?
Yeah, well,
they're
those are
slow, but they do make colored, and we just need to like make a black and a red. So I don't think we need them that much, but they're good. Are there other good 1 or 2 mana rocks we can play here? Probably not. Just the 2 mana ones.
I've got Fell War, I got Fractured Power Stone, I've got the Mind Stone, I've got the Prismatic Lens, the 4 we always have, the Arcane Signet, the Soul Ring.
Yeah, this looks fine.
Rakdos Signet, and the Talisman. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rocks, and 36 lands.
Alrighty.
I don't think this is a deck you can even look at the Moxfield curve.
No. That's good. Wait, there's no ad nauseum in here. What are we doing?
I love that there's 11 drops in this list.
Alrighty, I'm cool with that. Let's see.
10 more.
10's not bad.
What's your least favorite ridiculous spell?
Right now, my least favorite one is the Gruesome Slaughter, just because I don't want to tap my creatures to deal damage. I'd rather just have them hit and cast one of those monstrous spells that we have. I do like the card. I actually considered it ahead of my original list, but it's just like we're not gonna have. The plan is not to have that big a board usually.
I don't know. Mascot is what we get 3 creatures.
Yeah, you get what? You get for 9 power, 7 toughness over 3 bodies, and one of them flies a little bit. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Hit with that a couple times. You just got an army now. You know.
So here's the 4 mana ones. You got the Pirate's Pillage. You got the Unexpected Windfall. Both of those give you back 2 treasures.
Yeah, those to me seem better because when you do bring them back with Magar, you actually are getting something really good. I don't want to get back Faithless Looting with Magar, even though Faithless Looting is going to stay because it's only 1 mana. So like, are there some 3 mana ones in here? Because those seem like they'd be the worst ones to me because they do what Faithless Looting does and Tormenting Voice do, but they cost more mana. Like
was a big score. So we have
Seize the Spoils, I think it is. Draw 2 and create a treasure. Actually, that one's pretty good. I think all these are pretty good. The wheel effects might be a bit heavy. We'll have to work on those. The Grave Upheaval can easily come out. Like I said, that was more of like I just want to talk about it because it says cycles too.
Yeah, I think if we were had big boom booms in our deck, or if we were wheeling other people, maybe that goes up in strength.
Yeah.
But I think if we're just kind of like wheeling ourselves,
thing, yeah.
It's not as powerful. What else we got? That's something big.
That seems pretty good.
That's the worst fears is hysterical.
Is the Skull Storm, is that the one that was...
I was kind of underwhelmed. Sack a creature, lose half their life.
If
And
they
half.
can.
Yeah, so like, are you okay with this being edict effect?
Nah, I think it's weak.
Yeah, I think
Let's
that's...
pull it.
I think that's like one of those things where you do it. Is it rounded up too? It is rounded up, so you can't kill people with it if you get the storm count high enough. But I don't think that's something we're necessarily going to get the storm count high enough.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it. Let's see.
I don't know if I want too many tutored in hand effects. Just from a where this sits power wise.
I can see. Wait, the incendiary command, is that what you're saying?
No, tutor to hand.
Oh.
So like
I think
Razaketh Wraith and Final Parting, although they're like super fair when you pay 5 mana to tutor, I don't know. I've just been like, if it's a casual deck for me, tutors, I just haven't been playing them as much.
True. I would be happy pulling out the Final Parting because you have to pay full price on that one, and you get 1 to hand, 1 to graveyard, which is pretty cool. I like that the Razaketh's Right is kind of a tutor, and it's very fair.
Because it's cycling, too.
And it cycles. So basically, like, it just turns into a cycling card that if you need something to bring back, it'll at least go get you your enabler for your next thing.
Sure.
You know? I'd be okay binning the
Final Parting?
Yeah, consider that one.
You got 6 left.
The Profane Transfusion isn't the best, depending on people's life totals. It can be kind of underwhelming. It's down a little bit. So it says 2 target players exchange life totals and you make it XX horror. But if the life totals aren't really that much different, you're not gaining a lot off of that 9 mana sorcery.
Right.
Granted, you get to do it over and over again if you keep hitting with the creature. It just doesn't feel as powerful. Also, the split card, the Constant, I think is kind of an overcosted looting effect for us, right?
That's another 3-mana one. It is instant speed, which is nice.
Yeah, it is instant. I don't know.
You can consider.
Because I don't think I'm going to play the Furious side if all our creatures die to the 3 damage, you know?
Yeah, that's not ideal.
So it doesn't like the modal, the fact that it's modal, and it requires you to have the discard first, similar to the other ones, but we got a lot of stuff like that. The Sword's Vengeance is also kind of weak, in that it just deals 10 damage to target player, and then you gain 10 life. It only hits players. It's not something you're going to cast on rate ever. We also have 2 Plague Winds in here. I don't know if you want 2 of them.
I kind of like 2 of them. I'm less on Scour, though.
I don't really like Scour as much. It's still a good card. It's just, you know, like, the problem with it is it just gets that one permanent where, you know, if we're playing a 9 mana, 10 mana sorcery, it gets all the cards. Who's this?
Welcome to the chat, Shinken.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to our brew here. We're making some final cuts, getting this down to 100 cards, and I think we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon, but... Ooh.
And King Durkle, thanks for coming as well.
Unless you have some sweet suggestions for our Magar of the Magic Strings deck. We just need all the biggest instant sorceries that do game-altering stuff that we can just kind of bin and get back with Magar and hit them with it.
So we're playing lots of looting effects to get stuff in the bin. We're playing some stuff to get through, some haste enablers, and then we're just trying to basically win the game off of like 2 attacks, maybe, is kind of what we're kind of looking for. Yeah. I mean, maybe we're going to take a bunch of attacks all at the same time.
That seems like a game
Fever
winner.
Suspicion is just hysterical.
That's like a game winner right there.
Yeah.
Remember the Dam 2 is also
we got to play some Stack, some Type 4
yes.
with our buddy Scoop in Philly, and with Modanon Dan cast Fevered Suspicions when we were playing a 6-person pod on the Stack, and that was the game. I mean, it
was pretty much game. It was
and
over
he
after
opened
that.
with the Black Chancellor.
Yeah.
That was...
Just gained 15 life right out of the game with our 5-person group that we had.
Yeah, that was absurd. If you ever played Type 4, infinite mana, 1 spell a turn, it's really fun group play. If you ever run into Scoop or any of the Bufftown Bully guys, they always rock that thing on them. Grab them, grab a game. It is a ton of fun. Shout out to our friends. All right, two more cuts.
So looking through here, the Wheel of Misfortune is kind of It's all right. It's still good to wheel, you know, but your opponents could beat you.
Yeah.
In which case you don't get a chance to wheel on it.
I'm fine with that. Throw that back. We got so many effects.
There's so many ways of getting cards in the graveyard that I don't think we need.
Don't
that
offer any advantage to anyone else.
The other one I was iffy on was this Rise of the Dark Realms, which is just reanimates all creatures from all graveyards from the battlefield. Could be good for us. I don't know. I mean, like, If you kill all their things, you're getting them all back, which is great. But it also is like one of those spells that, like, great, we've been this, and there's no creatures in anybody's graveyard, so now all of a sudden, like, hitting with that creature isn't all that good.
Right. It's also one of those spells that, like, you
Oh,
want to
thanks,
cast that
Demo.
twice. You want to cast that twice?
No.
Once it's really good.
Once is good, twice not so much. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that this is very easy to move to considering. And we're looking at currently a 100-card deck. And we're looking at 36 lands with an MDFC. Should we put the fling one in here? Probably not. Either like the
No, because we're not like
reanimate creature
making
one,
a
no.
giant token or anything. Maybe the Phyrexian thing gets better if you swap life totals, make a big thing, and then fling it. But I don't think we're like.
That's pretty funny. The Phyrexian thing. Pay 1, discard 2 cards. Pay 1, discard 2 cards. Pay 1, discard. I'm down 12 life. Switch our life totals. I mean, there's obviously so much more we could do with this, and it's so much more big things are going to come out that no one's going to be able to play, and this is the perfect commander for them. Honestly, the fact that it's also a Minotaur using a marionette is a hilarious artwork.
It's a Minotaur performer. Excuse me.
He's performing still a Minotaur.
Because, you know, how many creature type performers are there in Magic?
Not that many. Looking at the curve here, lots of 2s and 4s, pretty, fairly commander-like still with some, quite a few 8s, 9s, 10s, and 11s. Obviously, what we're looking at for those is basically everything above 6, right? So 3, 7, 10, 11, 12 big spells.
Okay.
So I think that's more than reasonable because you're looking at like a little better than 1 out of every 10 cards. So when you do your Tormenting Voice, your whatever, also like you're not casting those things. You're just sticking them in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And if you're a casual group, somebody plays Leyline of the Void and they're 0, just give them the finger and move on to the next game.
Gonna beat you to death with Darcy.
We are leaning pretty heavy to the red side now, it looks like, comparatively.
Yeah, we've cut out a bunch of our...
And our mana production is exactly even, which is funny. Maybe go like shave a swamp, add 1 more mountain kind of thing.
All right.
We also really need early red to make sure that those looting effects really work.
True.
Dragon's Race Trailer is a 1-drop. Faithless Looting is a 1-drop. I don't think there's any black 1-drops in this deck.
Just one.
So, totally reasonable. The Tainted Peak with the swamps is good. If you have an Urborg, jam it in there. It's good with Filth and with Tainted Peak. It's good for some other things too, I'm sure. Helps your opponents though. Don't forget that.
All right, you wanna?
That looks like a great hand. I would snap keep that.
All right, let's see. Let's look at some hands here.
I'd keep it. It's awesome. Needs black. Hopefully your Felwar Stone works.
We're just Felwar Stone, Fractured Power Stone.
Unexpected Windfall makes 2 treasures. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we don't even need black.
Yep.
Yeah, that would do it for me. Get the Windfall under.
Like the most ridiculous opener I've ever seen.
Whoa, what's our camera doing?
Whoa. Did I bonk it?
No.
Oh.
You
Remix.
pounded the table.
I got excited.
Stop it.
Just trying to make it stop.
We're on a loop.
Uh-oh. I guess we could just deal 1 more hand here and call it a night.
Since we're all
doing that on the
bouncy.
stream? Yeah, we're doing it on the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Oh, there it goes. Oh. All right, everybody. Well,
Don't bang the table anymore.
yeah, I'm not going to bang that. I was just so excited to play the big spells. 100% not keeping this hand. This is a terrible hand.
Yes, this hand's terrible.
This hand is just awful. Well, that's why I try to adjust the camera. We're on a little bit of a delay. Alrighty. I like this hand.
This is fine.
It's not. It's actually. I don't know. I don't like this hand. I take it back. It doesn't have any enablers in it for you. I think the enablers are key. That's why we have so many of them. We need a way to get cards in the graveyard. Although having the haste and the camp block is pretty good. Oh, I don't know. This seems pretty good. I don't know. I like this temporal extortion card a lot. You pay half your life?
Sure. Now it's in the bin.
All right, cool. If anybody knows me, I love hands like this.
Yeah,
Especially because the Canyon Slew also cycles if you need to dig deeper. Having a ramp spell and the Key to the City, which is my pick for the best card in the deck.
Draw. I mean,
Seems pretty good to me.
that seems amazing.
Just hit the worst fears in there. Just start taking everybody's turns. You'll be fine. Don't forget you have a commander. So like keeping land heavy hands with ramp and having a commander that has an activated ability are totally good. I play Grenzo, the Dungeon Warden, and I can tell you that lands and ramp spells is all I want with him.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Ooh, I mean, it's a Soul Ring hand. It does everything. We have haste. We have ways to put stuff in the bin. We have another way to put stuff in the bin and get more haste. We have like a kind of a payoff and a big ramp spell. This is a sneep, as they call it. It's a kid's call.
And then we get a big bomb.
Awesome.
And then another discard and another bomb.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with all this. And like, that's why I like those role players though, because you don't actually have to like bin that to use it.
I'd keep this in a second.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I like a Young Pyro in the opening hand. You can put a lot of 1/1s in the field.
Sure.
Probably not.
Nope.
No mana. Ooh.
Yeah, this'll do things.
I would not keep this hand.
Really?
I told you, I'm really looking for an Enabler, and the Smoldering Marsh Ender's tapped. Granted, you can play it on turn 1, Silver Springs on 2 with Mind Stone, but then what do you do if you, like, don't draw a land, or, oh, you drew Command Tower, and you got Enablers. Alright, fine, this is good keep. Yes, everything in hindsight is good. Oh, that's amazing. I love this hand.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Multiple ways of giving haste. Yeah.
I always like to do this when I do any kind of deck construction, because if you go to this section of Moxfield and spin up a couple of hands, you look at like 6, 7, 8 hands, and they're all garbage. Like, you got to go back and fix something.
Yeah.
You know,
I also
if you
think-
get 1 out of 5 that aren't great,
Yeah.
who cares?
Not every hand is going to be perfect, but you've dealt like a half a dozen hands, and most of them have seemed very good.
Yeah, this seems
So
fine too, right?
Yeah, this is a great
3
hand.
lands, Thrill, Darcy, bin something, and then Invoke Despair.
Yeah. I have turn 1 Darcy, turn 2 Thrill Possibility, discarding Invoke Despair. Then you get to Surveil to dig further. Turn 3 you get to play your commander. Turn 4 you get to reanimate, Invoke Despair, and or Unmarked Grave plus whatever else you're going to draw. Like,
That's awesome.
it's a great curve. It does all the things. Invoke Despair is not that big a spell, but it's still big enough that I think that's one I would have no problem reanimating. Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah,
Because of that Vindictive Flamestoker, that's why.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cathartic
All right.
Unit, discard those 2 big things, draw 3 other cards.
I think we got a good balance
This
here.
looks like a sweet brew. And if anybody has any suggestions, please jump on the Moxfield. It's a public list. Go check it out. Say, hey, what do you guys think about this, or this new card came out? We love hearing that stuff and reading it.
And I think this deck is another one of those decks that with like a couple of small changes drops to like that $100 mark real fast.
Oh yeah.
Right?
There's some really good budget options at big spells.
Because
You
I
don't need to
got
play.
like $100 worth of lands in here, right? Which is totally unnecessary for the list. You know, Blood Crypt at $20, Bloodstained Mire at almost 40. You know, those totally don't need to be in here at all. You know, keep these like all of these nice, cheaper lands. And then what do we have? Like, do we have anything in here money wise?
The first spell we put in the deck was like $10, I think. The Blood for the Blood God.
Right, because it's
Like, 'cause
weird.
it's new
it's
and weird.
only in the 40k deck.
But like, the cool thing about this deck, this strategy, is that you can build it very budget if
Right.
you wanted. Like, the big spells don't cost a lot of money. A lot of them. Like, taking out Savage Beating. You don't need infinite combats for this deck to be great. We just threw it in there because we thought it'd be fun. That's $20 right there. Cut the lands on that, you're saving like $150. And that falls into the 120 range, which is about what a deck that I would build.
Right.
You know, I'm big on Terramorphic Expanse, Evolving Wilds. I love MDFCs. I also play all the kinds of dual lands that enter untapped, or potentially could enter untapped. But the cool thing is, because it's a 2-color deck, you just play a bunch of basics too, and it'll work just fine.
Yeah.
So, you don't need expensive cards or weird ones, that are unique. And Tomb is a bit more expensive. You don't
Yeah,
need a Tomb.
$10. Yeah.
You could just unmark Grave, and it still works very similarly. The Violent Tumor is like 20 cents. there's plenty of cards that do what that card does.
Right. We said the Gravebaker Lamia and the Corpse Connoisseur do the same thing.
Exactly. I mean, you don't need Eurobrask, which is not Eurobrask. What's that?
Sulfim.
Sulfim. You don't need that. It's like $7 you easily cut out of there. So there's lots of ways to budget this bad boy out.
Cool. All right.
But I dig it, and I can't wait to maybe try it out one of these days soon. That's pretty wacky.
It does. I think this requires some purchases that I definitely do not have in my collection. If you're to do this, I'd probably just substitute out for stuff I already have.
Yeah.
You know, like Blood for the Blood God. I'm not going to go buy that card.
Just for this deck, probably not.
No. I mean, if you're,
I'm gonna write it on a piece of paper and stick it in the sleeve and see what it's like.
Sure. Hit print.
Yeah, hit print.
Hit print. Yeah. I'm down with this. Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
Thanks
what a
for
great
joining us.
stream. Lots of people stepping in and helping us out. We appreciate it, especially on like zero notice.
Yeah, we just
Just being like,
hey, we're doing it.
We're doing it on Wednesday instead of our normal. Come check us out on. We're normally streaming Mondays at 8:30 Eastern. Come check us out then. But thanks everybody for stopping by. We appreciate it, and you guys all have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, everybody take care. Be safe out there. I really just like that Microsoft pop-up thing.
Yeah, apparently.
You said to like kind of click around to get rid of it. It's annoying. Look over here, maybe.
All right.
There we go.
OBS is coming over
There's
here.
our OBS. We're gonna cast some big damn spells.